Thank you, Watto.
Thank
wow.
One time for anybody out there chasing their dreams. One time for the family. One time for my day ones. And one time for the bad bitches in the back that's rocking with it, girl. Play with me. And just like that, baby, we officially live on the official Watto podcast. And tonight I got a special episode with a very special guest. I'm talking about a Treasure Coast legend, an all-around basketball legend. Matter of fact, an Air Force legend. Matter of fact, a Florida Tech legend. Matter of fact, a pro basket. Matter of fact, a global legend. In my eyes, one of the greatest hoopers of all time, Mr. Chris Carter. I appreciate you. How you feeling, big dog?
Man, that was an intro.
Come on now.
Appreciate that, man.
And if you didn't know, last but not least, a real author. You see it right here in the flesh.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to come on your platform, and hopefully we get some good conversation today.
Have to, bro. Have to. And if anybody didn't know, because this is going to be Chris's second time on the official show, we had him call in live from Germany.
Yeah, that was dope. That was a dope interview.
And I appreciated that, bro. I was like, man, let me just reach out to my dog Chris one time and see if he's down. And he's like, I'm in Germany, 8-hour difference, I believe.
Yeah, six
hour. There you go.
But it's jet lag is still kicking my ass. So
right, and welcome home. He's fresh home from Germany. Let's break that down. First and foremost, how does it feel to be a 4-time champion?
I mean, when you say it like that, I mean, it's been 10 years, and in 10 years, I got 4 championships, you can say. So, I mean, I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, but I think it's a testament to my work, and I've always been a hard worker. Especially coming from, I would say, Treasure Coast, the Treasure Coast area. You know, we're not an IMG, we're not a, some of these big time schools and stuff. So, just to come from where we came from, in the St. Lucie County area, and then to go D1, and then kind of bounce from D1 to go D2 and make myself a name, as an All-American in the D2 area, and then to still go pro from there. I mean, it was always an uphill battle, and I feel like, we made it, and I just got to be grateful for every part of it, the ups and the downs. So.
Come on, man. On behalf of the entire city, Treasure Coast, the whole 772, we proud of you, dog. If nobody told you, Chris, you look good, and man, we proud of you, dog.
Appreciate that.
Sometimes I try to do my show, in chronological order, but we just can't do it, Chris. We're here to flow. We're here to live life, man.
Let's do it.
I want to ask you, bro, how different was your first championship compared to now your 4th one?
See, the first one I thought was the most special because I've never been there before, and that was my first one, so I wanted that feeling, and I wanted to just feel everything that comes along with it, like whatever emotions I had, I just let it out, and that was very special. Now, when you get to the last one, or the 4th one, you don't do it for yourself anymore. You do it for the people who've never won it, and you want to see the look on their face when they get that feeling of, damn, I'm a champion, or, I've helped a team move up to the first league again, or something like this. Like, I think that was special that, we had some young guys, some 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds, some 24-year-olds, that's never been there. We did something special this season. We won 18 games in a row. So,
wow.
I mean, for 3 months, we didn't lose a game, and, for some people who've never done that before, some people have never had like more than 5 games in a row,
right.
And so to not get comfortable with winning, that was a special feeling that I'm glad that I got to share with this group of guys that I was with this year.
Wow. So obviously, Chris, you've been pro for, many years at this point, played for many franchises. Was this team one of the best teams you've been a part of?
The easy answer is yes, for sure. But like I said, I've had a lot of good teams that I've got to play on, and I think it's about the quality and the character of the guys too that makes it a more fun experience. If you got a lot of assholes on the team, I think that makes things, even if you're good, it still makes things a little bit bitter. And I think that we had a great group of guys on and off the court. We clicked together, and I mean, I had no complaints.
Right. Now, how long do teams usually stay together over there? Is everything a 1 year and done thing? How does that work?
Usually it's like one year. You get 10 months with the team from preseason till finish. And, you know, if you're lucky, you sign a 2-year. But, I mean, most of the time, you know, half of the team to 3/4 of the team is gone. And then they, you know, revamp the team up or whatever. But, I mean, you probably won't have the same guys again. So that's why it was so special. Like, you know, we probably will go our separate ways. You know, you got guys in different parts of the world, you know. And if you're lucky, you might hang out one time, you know, but, you know, you're in the group chat still. And yeah, and you gotta make the memories while you're there, because you know it's short. Once it's gone, it's, you know, everybody goes their respective ways, and that's pretty much it.
Right. So once you make it to the A League, do you get to play there, or they make a whole new team then once they move up?
Yeah. So we were in the second league, and then we moved up to the first league. And so when I say, like, that's my championship. Like,
Yeah.
so necessarily we didn't win the actual championship this year. We came in second place, but you had to make it to the finals. And so that, for me, I just moved another club up to the first league. So now I got 4 clubs in the German first league that, you know, have me to at least a little bit to thank for, you know? So, yeah, so.
Man, that's crazy. And now, so what was it like for you seeing the young guys now? Because at one point, Chris, you were that young guy first, you know, fresh in. So what was it like? Do you feel that you're the vet?
I don't like that term, vet, but, you know, my body feels like it. You know, I'm 33 now, so I feel every practice, you know, and, you know, it's getting hard now. I mean, the hard part is, even when it's done, the season is done, you come home, and I mean, you do 3 workouts a day. You know, you wake up at 4:45 in the morning. I go to Crunch or Crunch Fitness or whatever, and then, you know, I might do my 1 hour of weightlifting. Then I go to Treasure Coast, 1 hour of, you know, fundamentals on the court, you know, and then I might chill for a little bit with the family, and then come back at night, you know, to Centennial, a different gym, and I'm still doing, you know, an hour and a half workout. So it's a lot of pain you're putting your body through, especially the older you get. But you realize that, you know, this is what you're doing for a career,
right?
And you know, they've taken care of me. Germany, I mean, I would say Germany has really taken care of me. And, you know, when you're over there, they give you an apartment, they give you a car, and, you know, your medical, your dental, all that's paid for. So on top of your salary. So, you know, it's a great way to save a lot of money, and, you know, just be smart with your money. And whenever that time is to transition, post basketball, you know, you should have a good step up on, you know,
right. And a foundation.
Yeah,
and I thought it was
foundation.
cool. The last show we had with Chris, I asked Chris, in his opinion, what does it mean to be a professional basketball player? And his answer didn't have anything to do with on the court.
Right.
It was all off the court.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like you have to realize this is a job.
Yeah.
He's clocking in every time he gets in that gym. He's clocking in when he eats right, when he's disciplined, when he's not out here partying. Just came back from workout right now as we speak.
Yeah. And it's not fun. It's not sexy. But you just got to do it. Yeah, you just got to do it. And I think that's where a lot of, you know, kids these days are losing that feeling of, like, it's really hard work,
right?
You know, and you know, they see their, you know, the James Hardens or whoever, Shea, and all these, like, NBA guys doing these step backs and whatever, but, like, it took the fundamentals to get all that stuff, you know, and that was a lot of, like, you know, chopping wood every day, you know, trying to get things right. And I just wish people would see the fundamentals that went into what the finished product is now.
That we see, right. Just like golf, everybody watches golf. Man, this is boring.
Exactly.
It looks so easy until you realize how
that
good
shit
they
is
really
hard.
are.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They
right,
make
right.
it look easy, same as the NBA. Just
Right.
simple dribbling when you're tired is a different
Exactly.
dribbling than when you're just showing off hot
Exactly.
sauce style.
Right,
So it's to
right.
see these pros with pressure, with a road game, you know, or a stretch on the road, multiple
sure.
games back to back. It's like these guys are really pros. 33 years old, still doing it.
Yeah.
I want to ask Chris, if you were to see Air Force Chris, fresh out Chris, even
Yeah.
Florida Tech Chris on the opposing side of the court, what do you think you would do to him today?
Today I would just kind of try to play bully ball. I'm not gonna lie. I was just, he was young and athletic, but I'm much more smarter now, and I got a little more weight on me
Hit
now.
in the weight room for sure, that boy
yeah,
Chris.
been in the weight room, so I would just kind of post him up a little bit. And,
I want to ask a question I've always wanted to know, as somebody who's played overseas professional basketball, what's it like having a foreign coach? Is that difficult as an American?
yes, I would say my first year in Ukraine, he spoke zero English. We had, zero English, and so I had to learn Russian. And it started with like the plays were numbered, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had to learn, Russian numbers, and then I had a translator for my assistant coach, who spoke a little bit of English that can say like, all right, they would do a whole timeout. The coach would draw up a play, and then he would just like say, hey, all right, Chris, this is what you're doing. This is where you got to go after, coach did his thing. So, it is different. It's much more harder, but it's kind of cool because you get to learn a little bit of a language, and then it started off with numbers, and then now I'm saying like God bless you, and now I'm saying how you doing, or and in Russian, and next thing you know, I'm speaking. By month 3, you're putting sentences together, and even now, I can still, you still say приятно познакомиться, меня зовут Christopher, you know what I mean, stuff like that. I think that's that's Russian, that's Russian, but that's kind of cool that still sticks 10 years later. Yeah. So, and then German now, once you get to Germany or one of these Western countries, I would say that everybody speaks some English. You want to, they'll speak to the people that are from there in German, and then they can switch it to English really fast. So,
would you say that even in the early years when he didn't know English, could you guys communicate basketball even though there was a language barrier?
Yeah, it's a lot of basketball is basketball. You don't really, I think that's the beauty of it is, he can show you something, or if, how to use the screen, and he'll demonstrate by himself, and then, all right, then he'll say all right, you go, and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even when we weren't connecting on the same language, I knew what he wanted, he knew what I wanted, and we were there to win. So at the end of the day.
When I went and played college, and I feel like most young college kids, when you get there, your sophomores, your juniors, your seniors will kind of embrace you, show you the ropes, kind of take you under their wings. Everybody's going to get humbled when you get to every next level, period.
Definitely.
When you went and became a pro, did you have vets take you under their wings? Because professional is different. Everyone's fighting for a contract at the end of the day. We're trying to make a living.
Okay.
So did anybody take you under their wing, or was it kind of figure out your own way?
So the league that I was in Ukraine was a much older league. So everybody there was 28, 30, 34, 35. So my wake up call was, that first game, because I didn't get the preseason. I didn't get to go preseason. I went straight into game 6 already. And they just kind of threw me in the fire. And I realized I'm not getting any calls, no fouls, fouls that I would usually get in college, it's just never happened. And, I did have some good vets for sure. That kind of said hey, you got to slow it down a little bit. You're going too fast. You can't really think the game. And I think that's when I learned also stretching, all that kind of stuff was super important. And they did core before practice. They did core and stretching after practice, and I'm seeing 35-year-olds doing getting it in
Still
on the crunches.
able.
Yeah. And, and they stretch for when you're in college or high school, you can, you go to LA Fitness or something, if it's 5-on-5, we're going, I don't even need a stretch really.
Yep.
I mean, they're stretching for 45 minutes before practice. And then all that kind of stuff really got my bounce. That's where I started really jumping that rookie season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But then to your point, when it's contract, you're fighting for contracts. So when you do jump, if somebody tries to jump with you, you're not caring how you land. You're trying to punch on somebody. You know what I mean? And so that was kind of like my mindset. Those first like couple years was just, hey, I'm trying to get a contract, and doing whatever I needed to do that.
Right. And some people don't know. Most teams have you have to have so many foreigners,
right,
so many people from that country. So
right,
it's still limited, even more than just 15 roster spots.
Yeah. So like for example, you in the second league, you can have 5 imports, but like 2 Germans had to be on the court at all times.
Had to be on the court.
On the court at all times.
Wow.
Right. So it's a little. So that in year 7, I got my passport, my German passport. So that was a game changer now. So now I can come to the second league, and basically I'm an American, but I'm a German on paper.
Right.
So now you
could
got
be
me.
one of those one.
Right. So that's like a joker. You know what I mean? That's how the successful teams, you have to pay for that, but I'm gonna get you where we got.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it was a good experience.
That's crazy. And man, at the end of the day, man, I want you guys to be entertained with this show, but I try to make it educational. And this is why I like to have guys like Chris, real professional basketball players. If you're a young hooper, you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a lot of people want to make the NBA. So did I when I was a kid.
For sure.
But the real dream should be, I want to be a professional basketball player. I want basketball to be my job.
Yes.
Chris is living that.
Yeah.
I know many people that went overseas, maybe 1 year, 2 years, didn't pan out. So it's not easy over there. It's a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And he's earned every contract each year. Chris, I want to ask, shout out to the Florida Panthers. I got my Panthers jersey on right now. I've been to one Stanley Cup final, so the atmosphere was crazy. But Chris, what is the atmosphere like on a European side basketball, professional basketball?
Yeah, it's sold out every game. You got crazy fans that really care about their club. And from I would say maybe an hour before, you got some clubs have like parades outside, with like fireworks and stuff.
It looks like a soccer game.
Yeah, they get into it, and then especially the hostile environments where you go into. You got guys, you got the fan section flicking you off and stuff. So, they might throw beer, you know what I mean? Like it gets rowdy, and I'm a shit talker, so I'm not scared to when we do win. We're gonna celebrate on your court.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's amazing though. You still get butterflies and 7,000, 5,000, whatever the arena is. You still get a little shake in your leg when the game starts and the ball tips up. So, but as soon as the ball tips up and it's go time, you don't even just tune everything out. Yeah, you tune everything out.
Some people have seen, off TikTok, there's some videos going viral that show some European leagues,
right? And
they got flares going, big flags. It's like, whoa, that's even more crazy than an NBA game would be right now.
The NBA game is kind of like a show. Like everybody wants to come out and view the show, but like they really care about their basketball. They will fight you. You know what I mean? Like the fans will get into it.
That's amazing. And now, so I want to, obviously we're in Florida right now. We've got the Miami Dolphins. You got the Miami Heat. You got a few options. Over there, are you guys like the main sporting attraction to come see?
So like my team would be like, there would be a soccer team, but they're like third league. So now that I'm, help move up this team to the first league, we're the only first league team in the like area surrounding like, 3, 4, 5 cities.
Yeah.
So everybody that's close will try to come to the game, and sponsors too. Like sponsors was waiting to see if like we made it to the first league, and now that we did, they can throw more money into the club, to the organization,
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on that, I want to ask, it's very interesting. So how do you get paid as a professional basketball player overseas? Did you get United States direct deposit? Is it a check?
No,
is it them? How do you get paid?
Yeah, so you get for me, they gave us a German bank account in euros, and it's once a month. So, you sign your contract, whatever the money is, and you get paid once a month. Yeah, and the expenses is not, you don't have a lot of expenses. So
Right.
like I said, I mean, you get your groceries, you get your, you pay your phone bill, and then like whatever you want to do extra, if you want to go out to eat, that's on you. And, on the good clubs, they'll give you 50% off at like a couple local restaurants.
Because you're the pro, yeah.
Right,
Gotcha.
exactly. So, but yeah, once a month is when you usually get paid and stuff.
Yeah, that's because I was always wondering, like, do they send you a real direct deposit? Do you get a check? Do you have to
Yeah.
convert everything?
Yeah,
Or
so-
hey,
yeah,
you're getting
so-
paid over here. We're going to pay you like we get paid over here.
So sometimes they'll, you get your direct deposit into your German account, and then you would have to go to the bank or use Wise or something like that to ship it over to
Yeah.
America. And usually, I mean, the rates, you got to wait on the rates to go, and especially like the US to Euro has been going crazy. So
Right. I want to ask, so for you, obviously you're a Florida boy, Chris. You know what it's like out here. But how is the common person, the citizens of Germany, different than Floridians, let's say, or Americans at that? But
you talking about just like the
casual. Like last time, I thought it was really cool how you said that over there, if you're going out to get groceries, you're really just leave your house. You're gonna dress up.
You're putting something on. Yeah, you're putting it on for sure. You're putting some jeans on, a nice shirt. When it doesn't matter. When over here we're throwing on flip flops and we're throwing on sweats and we're going to get groceries at Walmart or something. There's a lot of differences though. Like, just like people in general, in America, if you pass by somebody, you'll say, "What's up? How you doing? Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you?" Small talk. In Germany, it's not. Small talk is not appreciated that much because it's to them it's kind of fake.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And
Gotcha.
they rather keep it real. You know what I mean? And just kind of pass by because if I don't got nothing really to say to you,
What are we doing?
What are we doing? You know what I mean?
I
We're
like
not
that.
wasting time. It was. I'm used to, being in Florida or whatever and saying, "Hey, how you doing?" to everybody and acknowledging everybody. But that was a little different, getting used to. Whatever. Yeah. Right. So, what else? I mean,
I would have thought that would have been opposite. I would have thought they were more nice over there, but that makes a lot of sense. Why are we wasting the convo
why
if
are we
I'm
wasting
just passing
right.
by?
Yeah. And, I mean, like I said, I like that, and like even the tip situation, in Europe or in general, they're like, we'll pay, over here we'll do gratuity of 15, 20, 25%, whatever, depending on how good it was.
Yeah.
Over there, I mean, you might give them $1 or €1 or €2, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you, thank you so much."
Wow.
But over there, it's like, we're expected to give you good service. The food is expected to be good. So
a tip is
so
like,
why are you you know what I mean? Like, why are you know what I mean? You don't have to
Gotcha.
go crazy with a 5, 10 euro tip.
yeah.
€2, if it's 48, you just say, "Hey, make it 50," and then, "Oh, thank you so much."
Wow.
So I thought
And
that
over
was
here,
kind of interesting.
$2 tip would be like
They'll slap you.
disrespectful.
Yeah, right. They'll spit on your food or something like that. So
Wow. Wow.
just little things like that I noticed. When you cross in the street, nobody jaywalks because they're scared that the police might give them a ticket.
Really might.
I mean, there might be no cars at all, and you're gonna wait until that crosswalk turns white. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So stuff like that is.
Have you ever jaywalked over there, Chris?
Of course, man.
You gotta go,
Yeah,
man.
I gotta make sure I'm still alive.
I'm from the block, baby. Let's get out of here. Chris, would you say you were more to yourself throughout your years? Did you, expand and start meeting the locals? Was it just you out there for a long time?
At first, no. I think I was one to always kind of throw myself into the fire, and with, especially it started with the fans. I might try to practice my language, with the fans a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was getting, lessons, German lessons twice a week for an hour and a half. And, once you live in Germany for 5 years or more, 4 years or more, I mean, that's when the passport thing kind of, okay, maybe I can get a passport. All right, maybe I can have both at the same time. So like now I'm thinking bigger picture than basketball. Like, hey, I can live anywhere in Europe or live anywhere in America. If I take these classes serious.
Right.
And so I started doing that. Started interacting with anybody I seen. You know, when I'm at the grocery store, you know, I need help. You know, trying to navigate my way in German. And then, you know, making orders at Subway or whatever it is. Like, if I don't want any onions or any pickles or, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, I mean, and then, like, for example, this year I had my headbands. And so what I would do is every time after the game, all the, like, kids would meet me at the corner of before the locker room. And so I'll play, like, rock, paper, scissors with them. And if you beat me, you know, then you'll get the headband. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, I tried my best to beat everybody and be like, hey, next, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right. Give them all a
but
chance.
that was kind of like that interaction that, like, people really, like, their parents liked.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm becoming like, all right, you know, he actually cares. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I didn't just go to the locker room, you know, right after the game. I'm chilling with, you know, the fans and everything like that. So,
that's awesome. So I think some people, you know, some situations you might really be over there, but mentally you're still at home.
yeah, I mean, I think the hardest
You
thing
embraced,
to do,
I'm there.
The hardest thing to do is, you know, play the video game, you know, go home, play the game, you know, go home and, you know, FaceTime everybody back home. Like, then it gets really, you get homesick quick.
You realize how far you are.
Right. And then it's like, you know, you can't just hop on a plane and get right there, you know, and you're out there. And that's why I think a lot of people don't last long. You know, they do it for a few months, and then when things get hard, you know, they're on their phone with their mom or their, you know, whoever.
Right.
And it's like, of course, your family is going to want you to come back because, you know, but you're not really missing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially if you embrace it, you're not really missing too much, you know. And then if your family is looking out for you, they'll find a way to come out or, you know, tell you, hey, you know, words of encouragement, stick it out a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
And then that turns into years, you know what I mean? So it's all about the village you have around you, I would say.
Right. I feel like for me in college, I went to college for 2 years. Early, I was like missing home, okay. But then at some point, when year 2, I was like, I couldn't wait to get back to school.
Right.
I wanted, because it was a different world.
Right.
It was 2 worlds.
Yeah,
Did you ever feel that?
Yeah,
I can't wait to get back over there.
I mean, yeah, you could just, especially like the summers now. Like my summers used to be all 2 months. Now it's like even last year, it's a month. It was a month. This year is like 2 weeks now. You know what I mean? It's getting shorter and shorter because it's like my home while I'm over there is over there.
Yeah.
You know, and like when I come here, it's solely for vacation, you know? And that's how I've been doing it. You know, some people do it different, but, you know, I got a wife now and, you know, a German wife. So
Congrats on
yeah,
that,
I appreciate that. So, you know, yeah, my home is in Germany until it's not in Germany anymore.
Right.
You know? So, yeah.
Chris, I want to ask, looking back on your entire career, is there anything that you would have done different, knowing what you know now?
Ooh, that's a good question. Would I have done anything different? Nah, I don't think so. I think I really squeezed the lemon out of my playing career, and I really feel like I've made I was always a good person. I treated people with respect. You know, like I said, I got a passport out of it. I got a wife out of it. The game has done so much for me. And, you know, I wrote a book from it. I feel like I really squeezed that lemon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You always got to ask, you never know, you know, but it's been written and then we're here, dog. It all makes sense. I want to ask, of your entire pro career, do you have a toughest opponent? Toughest person you had to face, or a toughest team that you went against?
I don't know if you remember Carson Edwards from Purdue.
Absolutely, I loved Carson Edwards.
He cooked me. I'm not gonna lie. He rang out like 5 threes in the first quarter and then sat out.
Where was this?
This was. I was in Rostock and he was in Bayern Munich.
Wow.
And he's still in Bayern Munich, but I mean, he came in the game. I think I might have like hip checked him or something. They didn't call foul. He was like, all right. And then I think he ran off like 5 threes. And yeah, it was over after that. I mean, after the second quarter, he sat down.
Wow.
I mean, and they blasted us too.
Shout out to Carson Edwards. He is a monster. I loved his run at Purdue.
I got to respect him, but and he could shoot that thing.
He could shoot
yeah,
that
he
thing.
could really shoot.
God
so.
damn. And now, but is that common over there, overseas, shooters? Because nowadays, Steph Curry has birthed a lot of shooters that just want to let it fly. Carson Edwards made a lot, so shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, is that common, shooters that let it fly like that?
Yeah, I mean, on the good teams, there's some really good players.
Really?
Really good players. So, I mean, you either got the athletic guys that's going to blow by you, and if they feel like you're a mismatch, like, hey, get out. You know what I mean? And really take advantage. But shooting wise, I mean, you got guys that play and shooting 46% from three, you know, and
I should say, are they volume shooters? I feel like I thought overseas it was better shots, not so much.
Depending the league, you know, if you're the guy and you can take 20 shots or take 15 shots and 8 threes and make 4, I mean, you're doing well, right?
Chris, you hit it on the head last time. You said, because I asked the Americans that like to ball out, that like to take 7 threes a game. Carson Edwards did. We need him to, but not everybody can. Chris said, unless you're paid to do exactly that,
right,
you're not coming here to do that.
Right. You know, you got to know your role. At the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing, is knowing your role and how can you affect the team in a positive way. Because if you come in here and they're expecting you to be a 3-and-D guy, you know, play defense, shoot the corner threes when it comes to you, and you know, shoot 40%, and they're paying you, you know, $10,000 to $15,000 a month to do it, and you come in here trying to go off ball screens, it's like, hey, we don't need that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We don't need that at all. So, I think when you know your role, and they'll let you know your role. You know, you'll learn very quick, like, hey, what I can and can't do, and you know, the higher up you get, the more particular your role is, you know. And I mean, some guys have the freedom to do whatever they want, and that's why they get paid, you know. But also, when you're losing, the blame goes on, you know,
on that guy.
You know, if you shoot 20 shots and you shoot 3 for 20, you know, because of a bad night, now it's like, all right, well, you're a jack, you're shooting, you know what I mean? You got to take the criticism too.
Yeah.
And I mean, in Europe now, I mean, I've gotten, you know, DMs from fans like, hey, you.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, what the was this? Like, all this, you know what I mean? Like, I fucking hate you, you know, like, I hope your whole family died. Like,
wow.
I mean, just because you know, you missed a game winner, or maybe you.
And these are people rooting for your team.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, sometimes they bet on your team. You know, they might put a lot of money on that game, and you didn't know.
Right.
But I mean, you can't control.
It's more than a loss to them now.
Right.
They really lost.
They really lost, like maybe like $1,000.
Wow.
Betting on you, thinking like, oh, this is, especially if it's a game you're supposed to win. You know what I mean? And then you had a terrible night that day. You know what I mean? And so
I want to ask Chris, one of the last ones, man. I appreciate you taking some time to stop by, dog, after your workout, man. Shout out to Mike Webster. Shout out to For the Culture. You already know how we do it. This is one of the legends, okay? Yeah. This is one of the proofs in the pudding. You want to see it? Here it is. Chris, I want to ask you, dog. Nowadays, I'm on the fence. Should kids put more emphasis on public school basketball or AAU? AAU's blew up. Chris is a Team Florida legend. Okay, shout out to Frank Martin. Shout out to Alan Morgan, all the Team Florida guys. Your boy played 1 year. And this is not so much recruiting, Chris, because obviously recruiting AAU, you get a lot more looks. This is, as a basketball player, did you benefit, not recruiting, but as a basketball player yourself, did you benefit more AAU or your time at Treasure Coast and in high school?
For sure, AAU. I mean, especially Treasure Coast was we were the first to go through all 4 years. So nobody really knew about Treasure Coast.
Yeah.
And then the first 3 years I was doing USSSA, which nobody really cared to watch. You know, you're not getting really looks from USSSA, but I didn't know any better.
Right.
We didn't know any better, you know, and it wasn't until junior year summer that I went to Team Florida, and I mean, that's when I got on the circuit, and you know, we got to have the exposure and be in front of these coaches, and that's when I did my thing, and you know, it didn't take long, but I kind of wish I did have that experience, you know, from like 8th grade, like some of these guys are doing, or 7th, 6th grade,
right?
I mean,
But I do think that you were in the days where AAU was still maybe good. I think it's kind of gotten a little watered down now, Chris.
Definitely, it's watered down.
I don't know if you agree, but to me, that's just highlight ball. It's just pay to play.
Right.
Let's get a squad together and do a bunch of open runs.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the AAU circuit now. I think what's going on is, now it's just about money, paying to play, and if you don't have a good team, it's pretty tough to get looks. And then it's like, well, do you want everybody to play?
Right.
And if everybody's playing, how good are they? You know what I mean?
Right.
Before it used to be like, hey, there's 12 teams here, and in this circuit, and these guys are like the best from Arizona, the best from Florida, the best from New York.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, you got 300 teams, and it's like, well, how do you
even base it? And that's kind of why I'm like, I want people to go back to public school, go win you a state championship.
Right.
If I would have won a district championship for Port St. Lucie High School, that would mean way more than me getting second place at Disney, which I did for Team Florida.
Right.
And that's why, because I'm obviously recruiting, it's not even close. AAU will get you there. We're not in a real big recruited county, I'd say, which we need to talk about that a little bit. But for you, Chris, like for me, I cared way more about my team in high school than I did in AAU. It mattered more. So I just don't like to see the kids that are not even playing high school ball, but just playing AAU.
I also feel like yes, to your point, but I wish that in high school we could have transferred to where we wanted to go and not where we were stuck at. Yeah, right. So, I mean, we were always playing against each other, but the good teams always ganged up.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And had we ganged up, let's say the best guys from the, St. Lucie County all picked a school and said, hey, this is the powerhouse and everybody's going to go to this powerhouse. And so everybody can get a chance to be seen.
Right. We got split into Treasure Coast, Centennial, and Port St. Lucie.
Right,
when Martin County was just county.
Right. And then
Vero's just Vero.
So I think if we had all, said, okay, this is the team that, everybody, if you want to play basketball, you go to here, whether it be Martin County, whether it be, now if you can't make it there, all right, it is what it is. But like now everybody's doing it, and I just would have liked to see how that would have looked when we were, going at it.
I love that, bro. Some last thing I got for you, Chris, some rapid fire questions, if you don't mind. I'm gonna try and just think of some things in my head. I'm gonna give you a player and another player. You tell me who you're rocking with. Off the rip, prime Allen Iverson or prime Dwayne Wade? Chris Carter, tell me.
Allen Iverson.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
Sorry. For sure.
I love my D-Wade, but AI is a bad boy.
Yeah, that's a
AI
bad
is
one.
a bad boy. Okay. Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter?
T-Mac, for sure.
Shout out to T-Mac.
T-Mac.
Right now, SGA, Anthony Edwards.
Woo! I'm gonna say SGA, but it's very close. I think the bump fade he gets to his spots. SGA really gets to his spots, and he knows how to use that shoulder. But shout out to AE. He had a hell of a season, and I think his three-point shot has gotten tremendously better.
Yeah.
And he's just 23, They're both young. I don't know how old SGA is, but
26.
Right. So, AE has his time. His time will come, and, but I'm rooting for SGA this year. Yeah.
Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook?
Westbrook.
Really?
Yeah. You got to think, man. Westbrook in his prime was, that's who I idoled. That was my
Westbrook
6'3",
guy.
6'4". 200 pounds, and trying to jump on everybody. Like,
right. Yeah, you don't play like a Kyle Lowry. You're not a big guard.
Yeah, if you're a wiry kind of strong guard, we wanted. Okay, D Rose. I'm not saying he wasn't cold, but I kind of felt like I wanted to be a little Westbrook, you know.
Damn, I like
And that's crazy because D Rose was nice.
All time, Chris Carter, Steph Curry, or Kevin Durant?
Steph Curry, I'm gonna say.
Steph.
And that doesn't even feel right, but
Hey,
that was the first. I mean, it's this or that, so I'm gonna say Steph.
it is what it is. The big one of all big ones. Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
MJ.
LeBron James or Kobe Bryant?
Kobe.
Really?
And then I'm gonna say LeBron third.
For you, who are your 3 favorite left-handed hoopers?
Wow. Lefties.
Were you one of them guys that I watched lefties because I'm a left-handed guy, or it didn't even matter to you?
Nah, I mean, Harden. I'm gonna say Harden. I don't even know much lefties.
Michael Redd, way back in the day.
Michael Redd, okay, but I didn't really follow him too much. I would just say I
always thought about that. Like, do left-handed players? Do we go watch lefties because we want to be like
not
that?
at all. I mean, it's just not that much.
It's really not. And when I've seen mirrored videos of right, and then it looks just like because left-handed to us normal, it looks odd, but when you mirror it, it looks just the same. It's
exactly.
It's just optics. I love that. So a couple more I got for you. Would you rather have on your team prime Shaquille O'Neal or prime Nikola Jokic?
Jokic. That doesn't sound right.
He's
either.
so amazing though.
But
Crazy.
Jokic is a beast, man. What he's done, I mean, when you really sit and watch the whole game, it's like everything he does is incredible.
Would you rather play for Coach Cal or Coach K? Coach Calipari or Coach K?
I would say Kyler Perry.
If your current team went against all 3 of your other championship professional teams, which one do you think would win in a tournament? With each version of you on it as well.
All right. I would say my first year team and I would say the first year team and the fourth year, or this year's team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say the first championship versus the fourth one. I would like to see those.
I want to ask you something I always want to ask, dog. So someone I looked up to, one of my closest dogs, and a legend in the city was someone who looked up to you. And I want to ask, how good was Sunshine Timmy Devish?
Timmy Devish, man, that man had a burner.
Come on now.
He had a burner. So shout out Timmy Devish, man. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, man, he had a real burner.
See, the shooters got to stick together because he would tell me, we would just give the Chris ball and that was it. Chris Carter would do his thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was younger. He wasn't there yet. I mean, but I know as soon as I left, he really developed into what he was.
I love that. And overseas, how much love does the Lukas, the SGAs, the Jokers do they get? Because they're kind of taking over the Europeans. Embiid, Giannis.
A lot, man. We knew Luka was gonna be nice from when he was 15.
Told us on that interview years ago. He said it.
Years ago. So, and there's some guys now, man, that's, 17, 18 in the draft that are playing in the first league in Germany that, don't be surprised if you see, a guy from Germany or, don't be surprised if he's like top 9, top 8 in the draft. So these Europeans is taking over, man.
Chris, obviously we know what you do, brother. You've been doing it your whole life at this point, putting it on. But who do you do it for?
My family, my mom, my brother, my wife, everybody who looks up to me and for guidance, looks up to me as a role model. I try to do the right thing, and most importantly, just be a good person.
Chris, if I had $1 million for you, you had to call 2 people. One person has to pick up, and the other person has to forward you to voicemail. What 2 people would you call?
Okay, so I'm gonna call my mother
to pick up.
I'll call my wife. She better pick up. Yeah, so my wife will pick up, and then
who's gonna forward Chris Carter's call? That's crazy.
Yeah, nah. I got a cousin. His name is Dennis. He'll be the one to forward it. And I got to shoot him the fade every time I see him.
That's it. So. Shout out to Dennis, man. We'll get you the money. How did you know your wife was the right one for you? How did you know you found love and it wasn't just the next one?
Well, when I met her, she knew no English. When she met me, I knew no German.
Wow.
So, I mean, to get from that,
deeper than,
to get from that to, where we are now, where I speak perfect, or not perfect German, but enough to get through, and she speaks pretty much perfect English. I think that took a lot of patience and effort on both people's parts. But, we made it through COVID.
Right.
A lot of stuff was going against the grain for us. And, she would drive 7-8 hours to come see me. And, it wouldn't be me going to see her because of basketball and stuff. So, she made trips, man. She made trips, drives, messing up her car.
Wow.
The transmission from so much, from putting on so much miles and stuff. So, yeah, man. So shout out to wifey.
Now, last one, Chris. What's the future plans for you? Obviously, you've been doing this for a long time. We want you to keep going, dog. You got to keep going. But
nah, man.
What's the future look
I'm
like?
almost. You can see the end of the tunnel. Let's say that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I got some stuff going, some stuff brewing. Trying to get into some real estate stuff over here, some mortgage stuff.
You're still a sophomore author. Any more thoughts of putting any more books out?
Unless you know anybody that can turn books into movies. I know AI is on the way with that, but
right.
I would love to turn that into a short film or
Amazing.
Something on Netflix like that. That would be cool, and then I could stop working. But
yeah, well, the work would start then, Chris. And everybody, if you haven't already, go tune into Ivy, man. It's a great book that Chris wrote.
Appreciate
Basically,
it, man.
his story from the perspective of a daughter, going through the similar, language barriers as an American over there. It's really dope. You get to learn about the iconic headband.
Yeah.
So shout out to Chris, man. That's awesome.
I appreciate you having me on this.
Man, listen, Chris,
show,
I
man.
appreciate
this was
you
amazing
for coming on, dog. I appreciate you for setting the example of what a real man is, what a real professional basketball player is. I've watched you since I was a little kid. When I got to play against you at LA Fitness, I was always super excited to see let Chris to see me dunk now. Okay, let me show Chris Carter. Now he want to be on the team with me. So to see it, dog, I'm super excited that you're here on vacation, living life in Florida.
Yes, sir.
And good luck next year.
Appreciate it.
Good luck. Safe travels back to Germany. And as always, dog, I appreciate you pulling up on me in person.
Sir.
This is the legend, Chris Carter. We got a jersey here in the building. He's about to sign it, get a real autograph. We're going to frame it up. Till next time, it's your boy YDOE with the legend, Chris Carter. I appreciate you. And if nobody told you, baby, you look good.
Rock it with it, girl. Play with it.